Okay, I've been wanting to watch this video for a while. 12.10 is coming out pretty soon, and it's gonna be coming with a ton of different changes to the game. So let's see how it will change the game, huh?
Hello Summoners, and welcome back to another Pro Guides video. My name is Nathan Ng, and today we'll be talking about how patch 12.10 is going to change the game.
Okay.
League is a constantly evolving game, so adaptability
This patch is huge. I can't wait. I don't like the meta right now. It's way too bursty. It's just who can get blown up the quickest. It's like there's not much room for counterplay. So if you get caught, you're dead.
That goes for every single patch, but it's especially important.
I don't know. I don't enjoy it. I haven't been playing League like too much just because it hasn't been as fun.
Totally changes everything about the game. Thankfully, you have us to rely on. With the help of this video, you'll have a better understanding of the shifts that will be happening in the game and instantly be ahead of the rest of the pack. So before we talk about the effects of the changes, I guess it would make sense to talk about the changes that are actually going to be happening. It's not exactly a hot take to say that there's been just too much damage in League of Legends for quite a while.
Yeah, the damage is actually crazy in this game right now. Like, just look at like Lux, support Lux. You get like one item on her and you can just like one shot any carry. It's crazy. So even if you go tank, you're just like not tanky at all.
Point exactly when it started. I'd say that it was
actually
when
nuts.
Forge was implemented in preseason 8. Ever since then, it's like any champion with a lead can mindlessly all in and 100 to 0 you. This obviously impacted the game a lot. It took away a lot of aspects that were important in the game before. For example, wombo combo type team comps aren't nearly as good as they were in the past. Back then,
I didn't think about that.
You actually got a lot of value out of chaining CCs and overlapping with that big damage from something like Misfortune or Cannon's ultimate. But in League's current state, wombo comboing is completely overkill. Just a single AoE CC buys enough time for the damage dealers to—
Yeah, you don't need to combine ults to kill anybody. You just need to get like one good root or CC on them, and then you can just use your regular abilities to kill them all. Like ultimates, I don't feel have that as much impact as they used to, right? They're still powerful, don't get me wrong, but it's like you don't need that damage to kill them. You don't need the ultimate to do the job anymore.
Also, the damage being so high makes not team fighting at all much more viable strat. Anytime you have a big lead on an assassin, bruiser, or juggernaut, you can very easily just trudge down a side lane and basically one-shot whoever tries to hold you.
And that's what I don't like. I like team fighting. You know, everyone likes team fighting. It's the bread and butter of the game.
Word, it made games very mindless. You don't need much team fighting skills to win 5v5, and oftentimes you don't even need to use macro very much. You can just brute force your way to victory with a big enough lead. Finally, Riot has decided enough is enough. Allowing the games to be in this state for more than 4 years is definitely a little bit of a whoopsie on their end, but hey, better late than never, right?
4 years? So, I don't think this game has been in that state for 4 years. I mean, look at last season. Last season was, at least for support, it was like tank. I think there was like big tank meta for a little bit last season at least, but I'm not too sure. I didn't play last season until the end of the season really, but it was all tanks, at least spot lane, and the damage wasn't nearly as bad as it is now.
What exactly are the changes? Originally, they were going to go for a blanket nerf to champion damage, but instead opted to go for champion durability instead. I'm sure the answer to why is out there, but I can only assume it's because it made things less complicated for balancing the system side of things. The specific changes that we're going to be seeing are as follows.
Base health by 70, health per level, that's a lot.
Base health up by 70, health per level up by
that's
13,
a lot.
Armor per level up by 1.2, and magic resistance per level up by 0.8. Additionally, champion healing is reduced by 10 to 28%. And champion shield—
Oh, I hope they nerf the healing. I know they just said they nerfed the healing, but I want it to be like more, not just like for the change, I wanted them to nerf healing at a higher rate than they buff the durability of everybody, because healing in this game is just, it's a mess, man. It's not fun, it's stupid.
Stupid. By 10%. This is definitely an overall good thing, though I'm a bit concerned with them adding 70 base HP for every single champion. You think they want a % increase rather than a flat amount, since it has a different impact based on what the champion already has.
That's true.
For example, Sona with her base HP of 480 can appreciate 70 extra health a lot more than Garen, who has 620. The same logic applies to HP scaling. But anyways, it's still a really good move in the right direction, and I'm sure that
I agree. I feel like it's not as simple as just giving everybody the same amount of health. Like, what about like Dr. Mundo, who like scales off health, right? Why would you give him the same amount of health as you're giving like a Sona, like he just mentioned? They need to do it a little bit more in detail, I think, and change it depending on the champion. Maybe the role, maybe enchanters get this much, tanks get this much, you know, that way it's not, you have to do it for every single champion, like 100+ different times. But I guess we'll see how it feels.
Fine-tuning in the following patches after the big one. Aside from the champion adjustments, there's also the system adjustments being made to compensate. All systems with healing are being reduced by 10 to 28%, and shielding reduced by 10% as well, mirroring the champion changes. Baseline grievous wounds are being lowered from 40 to 30%, with the enhanced versions going from 60 down to 50%. The percent penetration items are going to be reduced by 5 to 10%. All turrets are being buffed, with their starting attack damage going up by 10%, and their capped out AD being increased by 40%.
Okay,
Lastly,
wow.
Baron is getting his damage buffed, going from 125 plus 8 per minute up to 150 plus 10 per minute. Whew, that is a lot. Now that we've
That is a
talked
lot of
about it
changes,
all,
yeah.
let's get into the juicy part, what it actually means for the game.
I'm trying to think of what it means. I think everything's just going to be a little bit more drawn out more, you know? They're not nerfing damage or nerfing, they're buffing everyone's HP, right? So everything is going to just take a little longer. Baron's going to take a little longer. Going to do a little more damage, but it's probably going to balance out, right? I think team fights are going to be drawn out a little bit more. Assassins aren't going to be able to like one-shot everybody. If you get like a little bit of a lead where you get like, you're up like, I don't know, 5,000 gold on a different team, then you're not going to just be able to like one-shot all of them, you know? I think it's going to change. I think it's going to change a lot of things, actually.
With damage being relatively
The
lower,
playstyle of the
first and
game.
most noticeable thing is that snowballing is going to be a lot less of a thing now. Don't get me wrong, an assassin that gets up 2 levels and 1500 gold is still going to absolutely roll you, and that's expected. Someone with
That's
that
good,
kind
yeah.
of lead should absolutely kill you.
Yeah.
But what isn't going to happen so much is a lane being completely and utterly decided by a single kill. You won't just be unable to play the game just because you died to a gank top lane and your opponent is up by a single level and an extra longsword. You'll have more comeback potential, and other key skills like wave management and knowing when to reset will be more.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot more room for outplaying people too, right? Because the time to kill is higher now. That's why I like FPS games like Apex Legends right now, because the time to kill is actually pretty high. So you have to really like get your shots down, use your abilities and everything, position yourself properly. Whereas games like Call of Duty or even games like PUBG, even though PUBG is like one of my favorite BRs, the time to kill is a lot lower. So like anybody can kill a pro at that game, right? You just hit them like 3 times and they're dead. Whereas like Apex Legends, like no way a noob can kill Imperial Hal if they have the same weapon, if they have the same armor and everything, like, or any like pro Apex player. They're just gonna like dump on the other person, you know?
Impactful and meaningful. I'm not saying those concepts aren't a thing, they definitely are, and we preach about them all the time. I'm just saying that you won't always be able to just hard force with a small lead like you currently can. And if you think you're lacking in those areas, well, now is a better time than ever to head over to ProGuides.com. You don't want to miss out on LP just because you don't have these easily teachable fundamentals that our top tier coaches can pass on to you in as little as 1 session. All it takes is a single hour to instantly level
Yo, I
up
want
your
a
game
private
time.
one-on-one with Core
Anyway, the game
JJ.
being less snowbally isn't only going to be affecting laning phase. It'll also affect the mid and laning portions of the game as well. Again, a huge lead
Teach
on
me
an
the
assassin
ways.
means squishies getting pops left and right. But aside from those people that are gonna be Omega fed, things are gonna play out a bit more slowly.
Yeah.
Not being able to just brute force everything in sight means macro is gonna be a lot more of an important factor. Also, being a skilled team fighter will mean a lot more now. Previously,
I like that.
we talked about how oftentimes you really just need one good AoE CC and some fed carries to just insta-wipe the enemy team. But
Team
after
fights are
these
so
changes,
short
I think
now.
Old school wombo comboing should be more of a thing again. There is more value to having CC layered upon CC when everybody isn't just dead in the blink of an eye.
I feel like when I'm playing Senna, for example, and if I can get my alt off, get my root off, just get like all my abilities off like once or twice, and if I die, I'm like, I did my job, you know? I did my job, team fight's done, you know? And then my team wins, like, okay, we did well.
So all that being said, I think we can definitely see a lot of value of certain champion picks, like Rakan, Orianna, and Malphite to go way up. And on that note,
Yeah,
let's just-
Orianna's really good in these kind of metas because she can combine her ult with other people's ult. Like yesterday I did Clash, and I was playing Misfortune, and my buddy was playing Rel support, and we just combined our alts. And I think that's really good for the game, is to have that synergy, to make those decisions. Oh, let's use our alts wisely, let's combine these. And champ selector's like, okay, what can we do to really just like have your team fight strategy down?
let's go ahead and talk about all the champion pool changes that we may see. Before we dive into that though, I just want to also remind you that we're here to help you get through this huge meta shift. You don't have to be overwhelmed by the process of deciding what champion to start
It's
playing.
gonna be okay. Don't play on patch day. It's gonna be a jungle out there, man. It's gonna be crazy. No one's gonna know what they're doing. There's gonna be so many new players returning to the game because it's a big patch. It's gonna be a mess, and I can't wait. So if you guys want to check it out, check out the stream, twitch.tv/nitro. We're gonna be in the jungle
then actually learn them.
It's gonna be
Characters are
crazy.
available 24/7 and can literally
The
make your better
toxicity.
play
Are you guys ready for the
instantly.
toxicity?
Anyway,
I
let's
am.
get back into
I
what's
can't
gonna be
wait.
OP. It's obviously
I
hard
can't wait to
say
get flamed.
exactly how strong every single champion is going to be, but we can definitely make some pretty good estimates. The biggest thing is that all champions offer a lot of utility and are going to be a lot better now. In the current state of things, high utility champions are just overshadowed by a huge pool of champions that do a ton of damage. This doesn't just mean tank versus carries, by the way. This could apply to inter-class comparisons. Take Amumu versus Zac for example. When it comes to utility, Amumu wins out by a lot. He has 2 back-to-back stuns and also a gap close, and a massive AoE CC for an ultimate. Zac's CC is pretty mediocre by comparison, but since he does so much damage, he's insanely disruptive, with him being easily able to kill the backline targets all on his own. As a result, Zac is generally just a much more popular and successful champion. On the opposite side of the same coin, you can see a similar trend in the bot lane with supports. For enchanters to be strong, they need to have ridiculous healing and shielding to match the ridiculous damage that they're trying to save their teammates from. So the heal bots like Soraka and Sona have sat around a 54% win rate, while more utility focused picks like Lulu struggle to be above 50%.
I think this is. I think in high elo, I think Soraka and Sona, yes, they're good. Don't get me wrong, but I think with the meta right now, I like to play Senna, but I also think like tanks are still pretty good. Like I know tanks and low elo aren't great because like it really is team dependent. If you play Leona or Nautilus, Alistar, something like that, but I still think in high elo, like since the meta is so bursty, like you get a pick that champion either is Dino Summoner spell or they just die, right? But Soraka and Sona, I haven't played them. Maybe I should try them out. I know they're really good right now, but I just the same thing. The damage is so high right now, so if you get caught once, you're like same thing. You're just dead.
Or maybe 51%. I'm really hoping that they take these nerfs even further, pushing down healing and shielding even more.
Yes,
buffing
please.
Things like Sona's Power Chord and Soraka's Silence. Admittedly,
Yes.
I just hate going against Soraka and
Nerf
Sona.
the healing.
But let's not just look at enchanters. Any engage focused champion is probably going to be a lot better now as well. At first, I was actually thinking the opposite. The way I was looking at it, engage supports are usually thought of as a kill lane champion, meaning that you want to go in and blow somebody up in a single swoop. Since higher durability means that you're less likely to just 100-0 people, I was thinking the likes of Leona and Nautilus would be just getting hard nerfed. But really, I think I had it wrong. More durability means that they can just take longer, more extended trades.
I think Leona's gonna be so good because Leona has so much CC. Like every one of her abilities, except her W, is like CC, right? So and her cooldowns are pretty low. So in a team fight, I like to play Leona more than I like to play Nautilus because you use your abilities pretty frequently. Like with Nautilus, you kind of just pop your ult, your Q, your auto, and you're done, right? In a team fight, you get your picks, you auto attack, you stay alive and everything. But Leona, you're just constantly queuing, Eing, auto attacking, getting picks. It's fun. So I think with the tankiness going up of the whole game, I think Leona's gonna be really good. I hope so, at least. She's so fun. She's one of my favorite supports.
They can get off their CC abilities multiple times in a fight. Higher durability is going to be helping them after the laning phase is over. The biggest issue with tanky engaged supports right now is that they're just way too squishy. Even when you're relatively strong compared to the enemy bot lane, that doesn't really mean much.
Yeah, no gold either.
Having Solari and Zeke's convergence isn't going to stop a burst mage from melting you in a single.
You don't even go Zeke's, dude. I don't even go Zeke's. You can't go Zeke's. Isn't tankiness. I go like Thornmail or Force of Nature. I don't go Zeke's rarely unless my ADC is good and he's like I can trust them to carry, but
combo. So
yeah.
if you're the type of player that likes to play
if you're playing tank supports, I want to go Zeke's. It depends though.
Picks to tie the team comp together, then you're up to bat. I'm personally excited to see champions like Rakan and Orianna hopefully come back into the spotlight. I've been playing this game, unfortunately, since Season 1, and I just...
Unfortunately. I've been playing since Season 3, but yes. I hope next season, I hope they update the map again. I know they don't need to graphically because it looks fine, but I remember like the old map was a little bit more... I like the art style a little better. Now it kind of looks like a mobile game, which is fine, but... I don't know. Maybe I'm just complaining to complain.
5-man ultimate, followed up by a Malphite ultimate, followed up by a Yasuo ultimate, just to kind of tie everything up together, and it was glorious. Now I think Malphite just needs to ult and just kill somebody.
Dead.
I'm very excited for these changes.
Me
I
too.
think another group of champions that'll be doing super well are hyper carries. Higher durability means easier, safer laning. You won't just be insta-killed when you make a mistake, and
that's why I can't play this role anymore. I have my ADC Smurf, but I used to play ADC. I can't play that role anymore. It's just not fun. You don't have any say in the game until like 30 minutes. You do like no damage to anybody till you have like 3 items. You get one shot by everybody, even like tanks. It's crazy. And like you don't do that much damage. I don't know. I can't play. It's so frustrating, that role. I get tilted so hard.
Earlier, snowballing isn't as bad. You'll have a much better shot at getting back into the game later.
The ADCs are good again. I might play them. Might have to go on the Smurf account.
True. Champions that do well in extended fights are going to be the way to go. There are plenty of champions that fall into that category that are already OP, like Fiora, Riven, and Yorick. So I'm really hoping they get some compensation nerfs ASAP. The last group I think is going to become a lot stronger are Poke and Siege champions. If you're a newer player, you probably don't remember, but there was once a point in time, I think in like Season 4, where full-on poke comps were drafted. You'd have a mid, top,
they still are, I feel like.
All geared towards poking the enemy team down.
They still are. You can still go those comps. It's still like really good.
Jungle and support usually has some disengage. At the moment, it's pretty difficult to pull stuff like that off. If you're a poke champ against somebody with a good all-in, they can usually just farm you. But now whittling people down in laning phase is going to actually be a lot more viable. And once you're out of lane, you shouldn't have to worry about being one-shot by an assassin that's down 2 levels, like you would if you queued up today. There are also these champions that may be a little bit more up in the air. I'm personally hoping that this patch helps bring Lee Sin back. Due to his overwhelming presence in pro play, the Lee has been nerfed to the ground hard.
Yeah, but at least Lee Sin was like meta for... Lee Sin's like always meta once a season for a long time, so
popularity
whatever.
Has always been statistically pretty bad in solo queue, anywhere outside of the top of the ladder. He's considered a pretty snowbally champion, so at first,
think Lee Sin's...
I was thinking that he might be a little bit weaker.
I don't know.
Then I also thought about the fact that he's really good in extended fights, and later on into the game, he does have a good amount of utility.
I think Lee Sin's been in a fine spot,
so I'm really hoping that he's able to make a bit of a comeback, because he's really fun to watch. And on that note, before we go, here's our question of the day. What are some of the specific champions that you think will be super OP on this patch?
Oh, what's gonna be OP? I don't know. I think the bruisers are gonna be OP. Because they're gonna be tankier, and they're gonna have like Conqueror and those items. I think bruisers are gonna be strong, like Garen, even like Yasuo. You know, they get Death's Dance now. Death's Dance is gonna have so much value. I think stuff like that is gonna be really, really strong.
Make sure you let us know in the comments down below. And that about wraps things up for how patch 12.2 will change the game.
Yeah, let me know what you guys think.
And if you did, make sure you...
Let me know what you guys think. This is a good video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think is gonna be good. If you're excited to play or not, I'm excited to play. And yeah, that was a good video. I'll see you guys next time.